This is my fantasy redwood forest kingdom, and this is the entrance to it.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
Yup, that's right, it looks like shit. So, in today's video, what I thought I would do is spice things up a bit by building a mega archway build. This would include an an amalgamation of different types of houses and buildings to fit the overall aesthetic of the build. Now, this whole video was a lot of work and really grindy, so I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe if you enjoy it. So, let's get started. First things first, we needed to work out the dimensions of the build. As this is going to be essentially building a land bridge across the water, we had to find two spots on either end of the landmarks and then join them together. We also then needed to find out the height at which we wanted the build to go to. When that was figured out, I put the size of the dimensions that I wanted into a circle generator online, and this gave me the arch shape that I was looking for. Next was the process of building the archway's skeleton, and once I had done it, I thought that the build could be a lot bigger, so I had to go back and extend the dimensions even more. Once I was happy with the skeleton size, our next step was to go and make it into a 3D type shape. But the way I was doing it first was going to take forever. So instead, I would build a spherical shape all the way up. And I will admit, for some of the sections, I had to go into my creative world to plan and design what it would look like from there, such as the two curves and the underhanging bits. I would then take screenshots of this and use this to help build the rest of the skeleton. It's kind of bending the rules a bit, but I wanted the build to be correct and look really cool, and this was the cost of it. I also don't really give two shits. I still had to gather the materials and build it from scratch, and what type of builder would I be if I didn't actually plan it in a schematic form? When that was done, we had to then move on to the layering the grass blocks on top of it to give it that landish type feel. This was basically going over the top half of the curve and replacing it with the grass blocks. It was a long and tedious process, but we got it done in the end.
Bruh.
We also went along the edges to bring up the land structure a bit more, as I wanted it to simulate that it was really blending in with a normal mountain range that you would find in the game itself. Yo, I reckon I could MLG it from this height, you know. Yo, I'm actually so sick. Okay, now that we have completed like the main base of the arc, we are now going to start building in some of the core details of this build. And that's going to be basically starting to build the houses and other buildings on top, and then we're going to go to the under-arcing bit after we built like a few more houses up the top, just so that we can kind of gauge more or less what we're going to do underneath and kind of space it out. But what we're going to do is start off with our first house up here, which is, I've got the materials here. It's going to basically be a cherry blossom house. But yeah, we're going to basically start that process now. So yeah, let's get to it. The first building I thought would be cool to have was some sort of animal barn. This was mainly made from the cherry blossom wood type, along with some spruce wood blocks. For all of these builds, I used reference videos from other creators, which I'll leave their channel links in the video description below. So be sure to check them out. I then used the same materials to build a windmill next door to the barn to continue the animal husbandry type tone of the side of the archway. Next, we built a house which used a cool design with sculk. I hadn't ever used the sculk block for building before, so it was quite cool to actually incorporate finally into a build, and I thought it actually worked really well. The roof was also a lot of fun to build, as it had a lot of these intriguing details to it, as well as building the big furnace chimney next to it. After that was complete, we built another mini house next door to it. Nothing too complicated or erratic about this one, it was just a nice little simple house to build. We then moved on to a more wizard-like house after this one, which had a tall main bit to it and included some cool white materials for the walls. My favorite bit of this house was placing the crystals on top of the roof, as it brought the whole thing together and gave it that wizard/magic type feel to the overall build, which also fits the main theme of the Redwood Kingdom. Okay, so we have just finished our 5 main buildings at the top of the arch. As you can see, we still need to like terraform a little bit for each of the houses, make them blend better into the archway, but we'll leave that for the end, because now what we're going to do is we're now going to start the under arch section, where there now are going to be houses hanging from underneath from like some chains. I kind of had an idea to create like some big lantern in the middle which provides like some sort of light source, and then beside it we're going to have different styled hanging houses as well on either side. So yeah, let's get to it. The main material we used for the lantern was black stone blocks, and then all of its different variants. We started with the chain, connecting it to the very middle of the archway, and then proceeded to the lantern body. I will say that building this from the top down was a bit more challenging, especially in survival, as it requires a load of repositioning of the scaffolding over and over again. But nevertheless, the lantern had a cool gothic tone to it, which provided a really nice centerpiece to the underarch section. To the right of it, we went for another double-story house. This one was a bit different as the roof included a bit more of a design on it, playing with the ocean monument materials to give it a nice color palette which contrasted the buildings above it. This really made it stand out. We then of course added extra details such as flowers and lighting to it once the main body of the build was done. After that was complete, we did my favorite building of them all, which was a cute little acorn house that would hang from a beam. This was a nice stress-free build to do, while yet simple to complete. Filled the negative space quite nicely once it was finished. Next was probably the most complicated build of them all, and definitely required the most brain power of them all in terms of design. I wanted to go with a Japanese pagoda building, and this one that you're going to see now combines 2 styles of it. The first one is where I built the bottom section of it, which includes a complicated yet really cool design, and then for the roof, I didn't want it to be long and high as most of the designs that I researched into were. So therefore I had to find a middle ground, to which I finally sourced a perfect roof design that I was able to build into 2 sections, and then gave it a nice pointed top at the end. This build was then finished off by connecting it with 4 chain links either corner of the build. Then lastly, we finished this under arch section with 2 hanging houses that would be bridged together, making it a tree house-like home. I thought this would be a nice build to end on, as it was just like the acorn house on the opposite side. It wasn't too complicated, and it filled in the negative space quite well and offered a more cozy tone to the overall build. And last but certainly not least, we had to go around the build and add in some finessing details. The main one being connecting the 2 endpoints of the archways to the existing landscape and then blending them together. So as you can see here, we're trying to basically connect the bottom section of the archway to the ground, and we're trying to basically just like mold it into the sort of landscape more naturally. So it's going to be like a little bit more messy, like you can see here how the blocks are a little bit inconsistent. So that's basically what we're trying to emulate over here. So we're just slowly just building up section by section, and then connecting it in sort of like messy type fashion, and then we're just going to blend the bits up here into it quite nicely. Yeah, that's pretty much almost it, and then we're just going to go in and fine tune some of the other bits. But yeah, this building's coming together really well. So yeah, this is basically going to be the final stretch of it. This has also taken longer than expected. I mean, just doing all of this has taken around like what? This bit here has just almost taken around like an hour and a half just to get like the dirt and then having to place it all down. You wouldn't think it would take that long, but it actually is taking quite a while. But we're slowly getting there, and it is actually looking quite good. I'm trying to I'm trying my best not to destroy any more trees because I want it to blend into like the ground a little bit more. And the trees are almost helping cover those messy sections at the bottom. So yeah, it just means we have less blending to do at the bottom because we can just hide it. So we'll just crack on, and then we have the opposite end to do as well. I hope you all enjoyed watching this video. This project was a lot of fun to figure out and then build, and I would really appreciate it if you could show some love and support by liking the video and subscribing. But for now, I'll see you all in the next one.